listening to the Sportz Nutz.
Hey, welcome to the Sportz Nutz. Yes, episode 128. Man, that we are moving right along, and I hope you guys had a fantastic day. Yes, we saw you yesterday, but hey, we're back again. We have a very fun-filled episode lined up for you. We have a very special guest who is about to join us, and then also after he leaves, we do have some really high-quality stuff to talk about. And can't wait to share it with you on that one. But, guys, before we go any further, my man's sitting next to me. Matt, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, Brandon? I just want to say I'm very displeased that you started 13 seconds earlier than we were supposed to start. That's it.
He's over here eating as fast as he can, by the way, folks. So that's why I started it as early.
That 13 seconds is crucial, man. That's crucial 13 seconds, man. But I'll get over it, man. Hey, man, I'm doing good, man. Can't complain. Ready to get this week on and rolling. It's only Tuesday, but hey, man, a few more days.
Just a few more days. That's right. Hey, real quick, Shane, your Facebook actually is not connected, just so you know, okay? Yep. So, all right, guys. My gentleman sitting next to me, below me, though. Shane, what is going on with you as well, though?
I'm just disconnected over here.
Whatever.
But other than that, man, doing good. Got the garden situated out this afternoon. Got the first couple of tomatoes, cucumber off. Fixing to have a messy squash and some more tomatoes. So, man, it's just doing that in between the rain up here. So, man, it's it's just another day in the neighborhood.
Absolutely, it's been an interesting week to say the least. Before our guest comes on, let you guys know the rundown is really cool. I actually have 6 teams. Former teams. This is the list right here in case you guys can't see them. I want you guys to tell me, listing from 3 to 1, as which teams would you like to have come back? And if you don't know what they are, I'll be happy to share those a little bit. Memphis, request to come aboard the Big 12 has been denied. Where are they looking at next? Training camps are open for business. We'll talk a little bit about that one, and some faces actually are missing. We'll talk a little bit about that one. Arkansas has a 30-year-old rookie wide receiver on their roster. We'll talk a little bit about that. Why is there a 30-year-old on? We'll talk about that one. Shane has a feel-good story he wants to talk to you about. Matt has a good sports story as well. Shane has a whole lot more to talk about with regards to training days, money lines, the other side of Saturdays. Matt's got fantasy football talk. And we have some honorable mentions that we want to share with you. Guys, let's not wait any longer. Let's bring our guest on. He is a gentleman who came in, I believe he won the Fanatics Fan Fest. Got to meet the GOAT himself, Mr. Tom Brady. We'll ask him more about that in a minute. Matt, what's going on, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good. Thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate it. Shout out to NR Media 50, by the way, for hooking us up with this interview. We're absolutely thrilled to have you on, man. So I got to get right into it. You got to meet, or actually, you got to say, let's just say you got to get an actual paycheck from Tom Brady. Tom freaking Brady, the GOAT himself. Can you kind of describe that experience, what it was like to meet Tom Brady?
Yeah, I'm still trying to just, think about back to the whole weekend. The whole weekend, there was just so many experiences that I had that I just never had before. So the whole start of being Friday, Saturday, Sunday event and not knowing what to expect going up there. And, everything, by the time it was all said and done, here I am on stage, Tom Brady and Kevin Hart and Justin Gaethje and Michael Rubin running the event. And it was just, just seeing all these guys, it was kind of like an out-of-body experience. And knowing I was going up on stage, it's like, all right, I know I'm going to be meeting these guys and being right there alongside of them. Like, how do I handle this? And just kind of trying to soak it in and not say too much or do too much and just kind of, be in the moment. And I think I did that. And it was a moment I'll never forget.
I kind of can agree. There are certain athletes that I've had the privilege of meeting that I feel kind of like a kid at a candy store. I don't know if you saw in our promo and the introduction before we came on, a gentleman in the middle popped up, said ATL on his shirt. It's Bob Rathman, the voice play-by-play announcer for the Atlanta Hawks for the last 30 years. And I grew up watching him. He's one of my idols. Matt and I both are Atlanta Hawks fans. And we were kind of like starstruck, to have someone of that magnitude. So I kind of relate when you say you're like, oh my God, I'm in this moment right here and there. Shane, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, we appreciate you coming on for sure, and shout out in our media again for hooking us up. But as Brandon just mentioned about the Fan Fest and all the goodies that you got to experience this past what was it, this weekend or and all
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yeah, give us kind of a background on how it all came about. How you got in this position, and what all the Fan Fest really entailed.
Yeah, for sure. It was a simple social media post, and I'm not huge on social media. I don't put myself out there on social media, but I'm a Philadelphia sports fan. So when you bring up the Hawks, and I'm thinking back to Ben Simmons passing up a layup. That brings back some tough memories. But yeah, like being Michael Rubin, being a Philly guy, and something just came across, and he does a great job promoting this event. And it's only year 2, and it's growing like crazy. It was 80,000 the first year and 125,000 people in attendance over the weekend. So it's one of those that, like, I see this, I'm like, all right, I'm watching these people do these different events, and I've always been an athlete, and I just love competition and being athletic. And I was like, this looks kind of fun. And I'm a teacher, so it was summer vacation, and I saw I had an open weekend. I said, well, if I were to get selected, I could do this. I'm available. So that was all it was. And they started then allowing people to submit videos, like a submission video, showcasing yourself, and there was requirements for how long and everything. And I started watching some other people's that had submitted, and I said, okay, if that's, some of them look athletic, some, I think I can, hold my own. And so I was like, all right, well, let's put this all together. So I didn't really have much time. It was right at the end of school, last day of students in the building. We had a couple of teacher days afterwards, and I just like, all right, let's piece this together. I was going on a family vacation to Florida. So I hit submit, on my way out the door to go travel to Florida. And while I was on my trip, we got some updates. It sounded like things were progressing well. And it was the Sunday right before the next weekend is when I found out. Michael Rubin did a FaceTime call with me. And it was Father's Day weekend. And I was told I was accepted as one of the 50 average Joes going to be competing against the 50 famous celebrities.
That's a pretty cool, just think about this for a second. You're getting selected out of just a handful, and you're getting that opportunity. Oh, that's a cool experience. Matt, go ahead.
All right, first of all, I want to say great name that you have.
Oh, absolutely.
Just want to say that first and foremost.
Respect.
Yes. So I want to know, how did this deal with Tom Brady even come about? Like, did he personally say, hey, I want this, or was it through an agent or a collector network?
Yeah, for sure. And
make sure you tell Matt about that video too.
What's that?
Let Matt know about that video too, by the way.
Yeah.
Of how you and Tom Brady.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's one of those things that the submission video, backing up to that, it did say what the prizes were, so that was the intriguing part. First place, $1 million. That was kind of the hook. Second place was a $500,000 Ferrari. Third place was they listed it at $250,000 LeBron James rookie card. So you kind of knew the prizes and the value. So when I finished up my day, going through Saturday, it looked like I was going to be in second place until the very end of the day I got passed. So here I am sitting in third, and you only compete for one day. And so I went on Friday. So I had to just basically wait to see if I got passed. And on Friday, I was sandwiched between Tom Brady was in first, and then Eli Manning was in third. So here I am, just as no name, and getting lots of attention. So people in my area and community really started paying attention, and they were all rooting for me and everything. I didn't realize how big of a thing it was until after the fact, and I'm still finding out from people that I haven't ever talked to, I was following you. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. So then as it came down to it on that Sunday, when I went up on stage, before going on stage, I got a chance to meet Tom and Justin Gaethje, who was the UFC fighter that finished second. Talked to them backstage, and just in conversation, Tom asked me if I was a card collector, and I said no. So when we went out on stage and I'm, ready to accept my third place prize, he kind of steps up, congratulates me on my success, and then just basically makes an offer. So he offered $250,000, and going up there, I didn't know that was going to happen. And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, this sounds like a fair value. I don't know what to do with this card, and I'm sure there's going to be fees and everything to sell it. I didn't want to walk out there with that card. So Kevin Hart's in a couple of seats down. He jumps up and goes, all right, I'm going to be your agent, Matt. And he kind of takes over the conversation. And Tom's like, whoa, I just offered him $250,000. Like, not good enough. So they had a little fun interaction back and forth. And in addition to that money, he's going to send a jersey and a signed card in the mail to me. So, pretty cool deal. And then I was standing there with a bag, and Michael Rubin started counting stacks of $10,000 until he got to 25 stacks, and he said, here's your bag of cash. So luckily they did do a wire transfer the next day, and they did keep the cash there in New York.
Talk about like a really cool thing. First off, I don't know how I would react seeing $250,000 right there, and that was a pretty cool experience. I gotta mention this too. My wife is actually an educator. She's it's one of the most rewarding fields like ever. Her school is actually an entire school for dyslexic children. It's called Lakes and Bridges Charter School here in Easley, South Carolina. Can you describe the feeling that you get every time you see your students? Now, I know you're a physical education teacher, so it's different, but that you still get to see those students get that aha moment, and it's got to be one of the most amazing feelings. Am I right?
Yeah. So I did during my college years of teaching all different levels. During my student teaching, got a chance to see all that, and then my job out of college, and I've been there for 17 years now, has been at the high school level. All right. So, the high school personalities, sometimes they're not always the most excited to come to school every single day. But, like you said, when it does click and or maybe after the fact, they come back and say something, say how much they appreciated or enjoyed having me. Like, those moments are pretty special. So just getting a chance, it is, there's a lot of people that get out of education. They go to other jobs, and they might be making more money or whatever, but they just say it's not the same feel. You're sitting in an office, you're sales or whatever, like you just don't have that interaction like you do in a school building. So yeah, it is pretty special. We have about 1,500 students. So I get to see most of them throughout their career. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see the kids grow up and kind of mature through the high school age.
My most memorable, influential individuals was my German teacher, actually. Shout out to Mike Illensayer, great guy, absolutely. I had in my entire 4 years of high school, great individual. He always believed in me, even when people would doubt on you, and it's just something about having that teacher that, believes in you, develops a good relationship with you. I still talk to him to this day. And I'm 41 years old. I've been out of high school since 2002. So it's been a long time. And, it's just something about having that personal one-on-one connections. My wife still has a relationship with a student that she befriended when she taught at Wesley International Academy in downtown Atlanta, which Matt knows very well. It's actually right by Turner Field. Great kid, absolutely loved this kid, and he's about to graduate. Like, yeah. Oh my God, that is a mind-blowing statement in itself. And it just kind of shows your age. But I commend you, having been married to an educator. I commend you on what you do, and shout out to all the educators out there. You guys do something that not many people can do. And you're right. Don't get into, if you want to be a teacher, don't get into it for the money. The money is not there. what is the most rewarding though is seeing you have made a difference in that child's life and they're growing, and that's the most important thing. So shout out to you. Shane, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, as you mentioned just a little while ago, Matt, you're not really a big card collector, but we're all big sports fans, and I've always been, kind of revered the sports memorabilia side of things. Although lately I don't have the money for it, the way things have gone. But as a big NASCAR fan, the 164th diecast cars, they come to mind. Just kind of, you said that you're getting that jersey. What kind of favorite pieces of sports memorabilia do you have, and can you give us a little bit of story on the stories behind them?
Yeah, so more of it comes from my dad. Like he was one that he was in the generation. He's in his 70s now, and when he grew up, looking back on what he used to have, like he had all those cards, and he put them in his tire spokes on his car or on his bike, and looking at all the money that was in value in those things. And sure, he kept a few of his cards, and lately he's gotten a couple of them graded, just to see. And he took actually some of those up to Fanatics Fest and shared some of them, sold some of them at the event. So like he has a whole bunch at his house. So seeing them and just kind of looking back, and like I said, I was a Philadelphia sports fan, and just kind of looking back on older players and everything. As far as what I have, I had the packs of cards when I was a kid, and I didn't really keep anything of value. So it's just kind of been put at like a standstill. And then, now I don't know what I'm going to receive from Tom from this. Like, it's interesting. And just to see at that event, like how many people just go crazy over this stuff. And I think there was a card sold for $500,000 there. So it's just like all these transactions and all these people, like they're getting in these hands of really famous people, and the values are just going through the roof. So it's seemed like it was dying off for a while through my, last, teenage, whatever, college years. And it's really made a boom coming back.
Yeah. The sports trading card industry really has gone up. It's funny that you say a lot of people have a lot of sports memorabilia. Matt will attest to this too. I have probably 7 or 8 like large bins full of sports memorabilia. So I'm one of those people who are fanatics on collecting, and it really does make a difference. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, man. Whew, I got like hundreds of cards, basketball cards, man, from like 1995, 6. I need to go back and look through mine. Matt, so pretty much, man, you went from a kind of a contest winner to making a $250,000 deal with probably the greatest quarterback of all time. What has life been like since?
That's a great question. It was a whirlwind, and I already had stuff planned for the month of June and July, like a couple family trips, just being summer vacation. It has flown by more so than ever. But just the whirlwind of talking to people, and I went out to California the week after I came home from New York City from the event, and I went out for a wedding and spent some time with some old college buddies, and taking interviews and phone calls, and just seeing posts on social media, people reaching out and congratulating me. It's just been more than I ever expected, especially entering this event. Sure, I wanted to do well, but you don't ever foresee standing on stage and everything that has happened since. So it's been a little wild. I haven't gone back to school yet. We're starting up here in a month or so. But I already know that there's going to be lots of questions and a lot of interest from the students and also teachers and everything. But it's the first thing people kind of, when they see me, kind of tie that to me, because it reached pretty much everyone that I know. So there's no hiding it. It's not a secret. I kind of went into it when I submitted my video, and I don't know if you have seen any footage, but when I was at the event, I took my shirt off during the WWE walkout, and like all that stuff that happened, I'm like, if I don't place, like, I don't really want people seeing this, and so I didn't really put anything out there before going up or during the event. And of course, as it started happening, I couldn't hide away from it. So just kind of embraced it, and learning experiences all throughout here, and just kind of sharing the story, sharing the message with other people. And you just never know. And the whole side of just staying active throughout your lifetime. Like, it's really obviously paid off for me, but just the experiences and things you can do at an older age. I'm turning 40 in the month of August here. So it's just try to stay young, try to keep having fun with life and all that, those teachable moments. Is what it's been all about.
Oh man, I'm turning 40 in August too, man. So
yeah, there we go.
Oh my God. You know, but like, I mean, you know, it's funny you mentioned about health. I actually had, you know, I mentioned this quite a bit because I'm a huge advocate now for it. I had a Widowmaker heart attack, July 2023, actually. July 8th, I had my Widowmaker, and then July 10th, I had my quadruple bypass.
Right.
And I'm a huge advocate for health now. And I'm so happy to know that there are people who really dedicate not only to teaching better lifestyles, but to also who live it. I love it. Amen on that one. You know, final question before I let you go, because Matt and Shane have one more question too. Athletes today, they're far more advanced than when we were younger. I mean, you have people who do what, you know, LeBron James and whatever else, that kind of stuff. But, you know, they still have a very meaningful impact on anybody's life, to better one's life through sports and to make a better person. What are a few words of advice that you'd tell everyone that is considering going into the athletic world?
I mean, just from like my personal experience, like I never made it to professional level. I went Division I for track and field, you know, had some success myself, but like it's more about, and you mentioned about having a little health setback, you know, a couple of years ago. It's more about the journey and just learning from those experiences. There's so many teachable moments that come from sports, and that's why I'm a huge advocate for sports. I know there's some bad sides to it and people, you know, frown upon it or whatever, but it gets a lot of attention. And it's one of those things that you have to learn how to handle yourself. You have to learn how to be responsible, organized, all the time management. So just embrace the experience. You're going to have so many setbacks. And if you're a competitor, as I am myself, most sports people are, you remember the bad times. So I can basically name every injury I ever had, when it happened, you know, what kind of times I was running, or, you know, where our team was at that moment in the season. Like, I vividly remember every experience. So like, you're going to have a lot of memories from it, but it's part of life and it's part of growing up. It's part of just kind of learning how to navigate obstacles, and it can really benefit. And here we are, you know, talking about sports. So it's something that people really can relate to, and it really means a lot in people's lives.
Absolutely. Sports unifies everything. Shane, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, you know, doing a little bit of research for tonight, you know, I see that you graduated from Red Springs, Red Lion Senior High School. I'm sorry. Yep. And I also saw that you went down here to North Carolina, over on the eastern side, over to Greenville.
Right.
You know, I don't want to hear a bunch of the party stories. We know they're there. But, you know, can you give us a little bit of what it's like to go, you know, kind of from high school to college as an athlete, and then, you know, kind of return back to your alma mater and teach future generations on, you know, the proper way to do things?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's so many different ways to an end goal. You know, there's, you never know where your path's going to go. And when I left high school, I wasn't sure if I wanted to leave the state of Pennsylvania. You know, family was close by, and I'm so glad I made that decision. I went to the South for 5 years, and I got to, like you said, Greenville, North Carolina, got to experience just a different area and different people. And being down there, it really helped me grow. And while I was in college, I had the opportunity as an athlete. We traveled all over the country. So just having those experiences, you can't take those away. And I really didn't know where I wanted to go after college. So I moved back home and just kind of fell into the situation of having this job. But it really, I think it's so important to actually get away from your hometown for a little bit. Some people want to rush out as quickly as possible, but they always seem to kind of come back in some way or have an appreciation where they came from. So, you know, it's just been one of those journeys you really don't know. And I had a fantastic experience. Funny you say about the party school. When I was going into my freshman year, the orientation, sitting there, And that's all I kept hearing. And I didn't know anything about that. Like, I was there for sports and my education. And I started hearing people say, like, yeah, number one party school in the state. I'm like, what am I getting myself into? Like, so it kind of had a reputation that I was not aware of. I didn't hear that side of things before going down there, but it was, fantastic. You have to pick and choose your distractions while you're in college, especially as an athlete.
Oh yeah, downtown for Halloween is pretty epic down there.
I experienced that, and it was unlike anything else.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, Matt, go ahead. You have your last question. Go ahead.
All right, Matt. Since my co-hosts want to be very nice today, I'm going to be that guy. I mean, come on. What are you going to do? What are you going to do with it, man? I mean, you just got this nice chunk of change. What are some things, or what is something that you really want to do that you yet to do, or that you weren't able to do, which you can now do, if that makes sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. I don't know. Like, it's been a question I've gotten a lot. I'm trying to be as patient as possible. Yes, it is a nice chunk of money, and people keep asking me, am I going to retire? I don't think it's that nice of a chunk.
No, not yet.
Yeah.
But I have always been.
Have they met teacher salaries yet? I mean, come on now.
We do okay in our area, and it's one of those things that I try to be responsible. My wife's an educator as well, and we don't have any kids, so we have, really kind of been smart with things. So this amount of money, it's something I'm just going to let it sit, try to make a smart decision as the time comes. But yeah, we had a little bit of a car payment left. We paid that off, just kind of little things like that. Still waiting actually to hear how it's going to get filed for taxes. I don't know how much is going to come out. But yeah, I don't have any big item purchases on mind right now. Sorry for that answer.
Nothing wrong with that. It's called being responsible. I mean, unfortunately, a lot of the people nowadays, they're not very fiscally responsible with their money. And, it's nice to still see there are people who understand the value of, how fast money can come and go real quick. It really can. So spot on for that one. Matt, I absolutely appreciate from the bottom of my heart that you came on our show. Shout out to NR Media for helping hook this up. But, man, can you kind of let everybody know where they can maybe find you?
Yeah, so I created, like I said, I wasn't big on social media, but I now have an average Joe _ Dennish, DENNISH, my last name. Have an Instagram account now, and just been posting things about my experience. I have had the Noggin Boss company, the hat that I wore on stage. Their kind of whole philosophy is like, use your noggin and be a boss. So really like big and bold and just kind of put yourself out there. So been working with them a little bit. I got a whole bunch of Eagles hats sent to me. So I'll be representing those and put some things on there. Actually also reading Inner Excellence. It was a book that A.J. Brown was caught on the sideline reading during a game. So just kind of like the mental side of things. And I really relate well to that book. So my wife is an English teacher. She's really big into books. So two of us have been reading that and posting a little bit about the journey that I've had.
Again, shout out to every educator there is, but especially to you and your wife. Like I said, my wife is one, and I can tell you, it ain't an easy job. You're having to develop young minds, and especially at the age group you're at, they're at the point where they're too good to learn that stuff. But Cassie experiences that very frequently. Matt, man, thank you so much for everything, and man, I hope you have an absolute wonderful evening. And it's going to pain me to say this, but go Birds for you.
I appreciate it. Fly Eagles fly.
That's right. Take care, Matt. We really appreciate it, man. We'll talk soon.
Matt.
All right, great to see you guys.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Guys, what a fantastic guest indeed to have on the show. Thank you to NR Media for absolutely hooking us up, which, by the way, he comes on tomorrow, guys. You're going to get a chance to talk with him tomorrow, and I cannot wait to have him on because he's going to talk some Giants football. So, hey, I got a question for everybody, okay? I'm going to show you all a picture. I did not upload it in time here. It's on the overlay. It's okay. If you don't know the names of these teams, just tell me, and I'll let you know. I'm going to go ahead and spin them out. That's the Seattle Supersonics, the Cleveland Indians, the Vancouver Grizzlies, Montreal Expo, the Hartford Whalers, and the Atlanta Thrashers. What the question is, here it says, pick one sports team that you'd like to have come back. No, I'm going to hear 3, but it has to be from 3 to 1 being the best. And I'm going to start with Shane on this one because, there's a lot of good. I kind of know where Matt's going to go on this one anyway, but Shane, here they are again. Which 3 would you like to see come back and why?
I only really had 2 because Cleveland Indians are just the Guardians now, so you really can't bring them back. They're still there. They've only been renamed. Number 2 on my list would definitely be Seattle Supersonics. Man, they had some great years with Sean Kemp, Gary Payton up there. It was kind of sad to see what the city did to let them leave the way they did in that fashion, going to Oklahoma City. Wish it was a better situation and they could still be playing. But my number one's, man, bring back the Expos. They were a great team. There in the early '90s. It was a great atmosphere and everything before they, they packed it up and went to DC. I think that, especially with what we're talking about with the MLB possibly an expansion and the NBA, I think you have to put those 2 teams up there.
I agree. And for those who don't know, also, the year that the strike happened in Major League Baseball, which was their final year and really being meaningful in Montreal, they were actually slated to win that division. They were red hot. They were one of the best teams ever, and the 93 strike happened. So, yeah. All right, Matt, you saw do you need to see the teams again?
No.
All right, so which 3? Now, look, Shane has 2, and that's fine because one of them is a technical point. The Cleveland Indians, the only going back would be the Indians and, that kind of stuff. But out of those 3, what would you like to see come back and why?
First, I'm gonna agree with you and Shane about the Expos. Great team, should have never left. Should still be alive, quote unquote, alive and kicking now. So Expos are gonna be number 3. Number 2, I'm gonna go with the Seattle. I think Seattle should. I don't think it never should have left. It was unfortunate what happened. Going back to the days of Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Dale Ellis, Detlef Shrimp. Big Sam Perkins. I mean, they had squads. That was a squad that George Carl could not mess up. And number 1 is going to be the Thrashers, man. I think having a hockey team here in Atlanta this day and age with social media as prevalent as it is right now, I think that would help out the city. But my number 1 is going to be the Atlanta Thrashers here in Atlanta.
I like that. And for those who also didn't know this about the Montreal Expos, the city of Montreal, well, their French Canadian government really, they were never too sold on a baseball franchise in Montreal. Montreal is a beautiful, beautiful city. That is a bucket list. I know quite a few people who, my past life, even they had opportunities to visit Montreal. Shout out to the city, Montreal. Absolutely, Montreal Canadiens are a very good hockey franchise. But yeah, it is unfortunate what happened. I'm going to give mine 3, okay? And look, Trey just said the Sonics, the Expos, and the Vancouver Grizzlies. And Memphis can get another name. I like that, actually. And that's kind of where I'm going. I'm going to say the Vancouver Grizzlies. I liked their uniforms. Despite how bad of a franchise they were, Matt, and you know this, they were absolutely bottom feeders in the NBA forever. I really enjoyed watching them, and their fan base was phenomenal. Vancouver, the Canucks, I mean, if you guys don't know this, the Canucks, the NHL franchise, they sell out every game. They could be the absolute worst team in the NHL, and they're still going to sell out. Why? Because they're die-hard fans. Shout out to the city of Vancouver. The number 2, I'm going to say the Hartford Whalers, actually. I'm a big hockey guy. I absolutely am. And the Whalers, they were really good. As you guys know, they are Carolina. And then I'd say number 1 be the Seattle Supersonics. That franchise was a I remember, Matt, and tell me if you remember this too. Every time you saw Neek, you saw Spud, you saw Kemp, all of them, that was something you enjoyed absolutely watching, right? Because you got to see Atlanta Hawks legends taking on Seattle legends, right?
Of course, man. You got to see, just good players playing, man. Yeah, like I said, Seattle, man, is a great franchise, man. It's unfortunate what happened, but guys, that franchise really, if you want to get technical, that franchise just won a championship in the NBA.
Yeah, and from what we understand from Adam Silver is this off season at the owners' meetings later on this year, they're going to have discussions about expansion. And the 2 cities that are rumored, they are Seattle and Las Vegas. So if we see them, I think honestly it'd be Seattle first over Vegas, but I wouldn't be surprised if both come. I really wouldn't. All right, guys. So this next topic is actually kind of interesting. Memphis, University of Memphis, made a promise to the Big 12 for $250 million. And what does the Big 12 say? No. As the old Stuart Scott commercial with Chad Johnson when he said boo yeah, and Chad Johnson said boo no. It was absolutely rejected. Memphis has said they are going to stay in the All-American Conference. That's not true, though. They're having conversations with other conferences. And I'm going to, for 50 points, ladies and gentlemen, Matt, Shane, I don't care who answers this. What is the conference that is the likeliest conference that could land Memphis for 50 points?
I know my thought on it.
What is it?
It's the next one that they can come to is going to be the ACC. Because the buyout and the pay-in for the Big Ten and the SEC are astronomical.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's going to be that's a logical place logistically with other ACC teams. It kind of ventures them out to that Tennessee market. A good bit, and can kind of complete the circle from East Coast to Cal and Stanford on the West Coast.
It's so weird, by the way, to say Cal and Stanford on the ACC.
The
Atlantic Coast is Atlantic, not Pacific. But go ahead.
Yeah, but they're just trying to. They were the one team left out of the American. Kind of in the Big 12 and all the conference realignments last year that really had a solid chance and an argument to be in a Power 4 conference. But that didn't happen. And so now they're kind of, one of the leading members of the American Conference now. So, would
you like to hear where they are looking? You hit the nail right on the head, Shane.
Oh, yeah.
They have had a discussion, actually several discussions with the ACC, and ACC is listening. Yes, they have listened. Well, guess what? Tulane said, hold my beer. I want to talk to them too. And yes, the ACC is listening to both Memphis and Tulane, which for those who are not paying attention or have not paid attention, Tulane has basically run the AAC for the last several years, except for last year with Army doing what Army did. But Matt, really, realistically, could we see 2 additional teams maybe get that coveted invite to the ACC?
Well, never say never. As far as Memphis goes, I don't know. I am on the fence about Memphis. I don't know. I didn't think they were going to get into the SEC. The ACC could be possible. But honestly, I just see them staying with the AAC or, one of those conferences, man. I just see them staying there, man. I don't see them going anywhere. Does does Memphis really move the needle for those conferences? Does Memphis really, what does Memphis do for those conferences for as far as the SEC and the ACC?
Well, I mean, the fact that they just said that we're going to offer the Big 12, it's the Big 12, but offer them $250 million. I mean, come on.
Not
How
enough.
many colleges
Not
do
enough.
you personally know, Matt? They're going to say, you know what? $250. Here's your $250 million check.
Any
How do you know
conference,
you're going to just do that randomly?
I can tell you who's going to say no. The SEC and the ACC. I can tell you right now. I don't know. I don't think they're going to take. I don't think they're going to take Memphis. I don't think they're going to take Memphis.
I
It's
don't.
intriguing.
They've got a couple of their major programs have to be on the up within the next couple years.
It's
to make
football,
it-
basketball.
Yeah,
To
yeah,
make it
yeah.
worthy of there for them.
Yeah, to make it worthy of it. Because, if you look, say late 2000s, 2010s, they had that prowess where they could have been on the fringe of being mentioned in that, but they had better teams and were bringing in better revenue. That's going to be another thing. It's TV money makes these conferences just go all around. And if they can't bring somebody to the table that's going to boost their TV ratings, then they're going to have to pay $1 billion to even talk about it, because that's what those TV contracts are, in the tens and $20 billion ranges.
See, back then in the late, as Shane alluded to, the late 2000s and in the early 2010s, they had their basketball program had players like Derrick Rose and Tyreek Evans, but they stayed in the Conference USA. They didn't. I don't think the football team wasn't even that great at that particular moment either.
It wasn't
Yeah,
good up until, I would say, maybe like the 2015 and up range.
Yeah,
is what I'm
yeah,
thinking.
yeah. So it's I just think Memphis needs to bring more to the table, man. Well, and they have the potential to do that. They're a good program, man. I mean, solid program, a lot of history dating back to the Penny Hardaways, and I mean, a lot of history here, man. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, one of the most formidable opponents. Gosh, I can remember for a while, Memphis was a laughing stock. I remember that. I absolutely remember that. But you're right, Shane. You have to make it worthy for them to listen. Evidently, it's something that the ACC is. They've made it sound extra sexy to the ACC because they're listening.
Well,
And
ACC,
I'm okay with that.
ACC still has that ruling out from that Clemson, Florida State stuff too. So you got to look. You might have two schools leaving. So
Yeah, that's true.
you got to solidify that conference alignment deal.
Yes,
and
I was just
the
about to say
schedules.
that. You've got to. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely. If Memphis goes, it will be a huge moment in University of Memphis history because they're moving from a G4 to a P5, or excuse me, a G5 to a P4, Power 4 conference. They're moving to the big boys. Shout out to them if it happens. It really would be good. Shout out, by the way, to our good friend Maddie Hudak of SI.com, the beat writer for Tulane University. Shane, here was something was really funny, Shane, and then we'll go to your story. You sent a text message to me about a new signing that Tulane got, and literally, I mean, it's probably not even 2 minutes after you sent me that text message, Maddie posted the story, and it's a huge signing for Tulane. Can you quickly let everybody know who they signed or where he was from?
Oh yeah, we're talking about the quarterback, I believe Jake Retzloff from formerly of BYU. Was in a scandal there with their strict code of conduct and everything else, even after a case was dropped against him. So he was looking for another team to go play for, and Tulane opened the doors, and he's going there. Tulane is one of those teams. I'm glad that you mentioned that the ACC reached out to them too as a possibility, because Tulane their football program is on the up and has been for, like you mentioned, a couple of years. But they're also mentioned in that group of 5 to make the college football playoffs this year.
Maddie said that too. Oh my God. I'm so glad you saw that too. I think we could see
they add this
really
talent.
happen.
Yeah, they add this talent to it, to a already good team, and can see how it can grow and blossom. It's great to see him get a second chance somewhere. Real excited to see what Tulane has in store for us this year on the gridiron.
You want to know who he reminds me of? Matt, you know this name I'm about to tell you. Colt Brennan. Remember, Colt Brennan was at Colorado. Got kicked out for a sexual assault claim that turned out to not be true. Goes to Hawaii, leads Hawaii to a 12-0 season. Goes to the BCS, plays the Sugar Bowl. Really, it should have been gone to they should have gone to the Rose Bowl against Illinois and Georgia, and USC would have played that year for the national championship. I think it would have been that way. But exciting things definitely are coming for the program of Tulane, and I cannot wait. Shout out to everybody who's covering, especially our good friend Maddie. Maddie, if you're watching, we would absolutely love to have you come on again and talk to us about them. Real quick, I want to let you guys know training camps have started. Yes, they have started. Shane, there's a notable face that's absolutely missing, and he said he ain't showing up until you pay him the dollars. Who is that name by chance? Do you know?
I don't know. Where do you want to start?
We'll start with the Bungles.
Well, the Bengals. You've got Hendrickson sitting out right now for a contract, that he rightfully deserves. Over his past couple of years' production, he deserves an extension. I haven't looked too far into where the negotiations are leading off, and I know he wants to be back out on the field because he's that type of player. But then you also got Stewart that's sitting out over contract guarantee stuff. He's a rookie. He's probably one of the best edge rushers that came out of the draft this year. But he's out as well. And then, if you want to go to other places, you got Scary Terry sitting out in Washington.
Yes. Yeah. What is going to go on there,
You need to pay the man.
Yes.
He's
if you let
he's
this
one of the
happen,
reasons,
you're not smart, Washington.
He's one of the reasons that you're in the consideration to be a NFC contender this year. So just pay the man, and then you've got the Browns. I don't know if Quinshawn, if he showed up, because I know he's got a domestic violence charge pending kind of deal. So that's kind of waiting, but he's the only second rounder out of the draft that hasn't signed yet. And then we go to the world's biggest media spectacle around this time of year, and that is Jerry's World in Dallas.
Yes.
Micah Parsons sitting out. They've not only after contract talks not working out. They're him and Jerry going back and forth in the media, taking jabs at each other. So that's that's going to be interesting how it plays out. But I'm kind of interested and ready to see how training camps end up, and what we're going to see. I've already heard some great things coming out of Carolina. For what they see,
Look at Matt smiling.
And the enthusiasm and the change of culture on what people see. So, you can sit down there in your little metro in Atlanta and just hold on. We'll see you game 3.
Matt, you hear this, right? You hear this?
I hear.
He's over here chirping. Matt, I got to ask you, we know, you and I already know where if Jerry doesn't want to ink him on that contract, can you just let everybody know where he would happily be welcome? And we're talking about the ever popular Micah Parsons. Which franchise in the South that you live nearby would absolutely love to just give him the keys to the city?
Well, first of all, any team in the NFL would give him the keys to the city. Let's not mistake this.
But I said the South that you live near.
Any team in the NFL would take him. But what I will say is, hey, men lie, women lie, and Cowboys disappoint. Those are the three, the three things you're going to get in life. So look, man,
you forgot Lakers in 5.
Lakers at 5. Man, Lakers at 5. Well, hey, man, in about 5-6 years when Bronny's running the team, it's going to be Lakers at 5.
You know what? So, I knew you were going to have a chance. Any chance you had to talk about Bronny James.
But nah, I will say this though, man. That is the most. If Micah Parsons were to get out from the Cowboys' grass, that would be the most Cowboy thing, and that we've seen the last 30-something odd years since they've won their championship in 95, 96. Charlotte needs them now. Charlotte needs anybody now. So look, man, it's just if the Cowboys let him walk, man, Falcons would gladly take him. Anybody would take him, man. But I can see something crazy like the Niners, somebody that don't really need him. Niners, the Ravens, I can see a team like that getting him if he is able to walk. But the Cowboys, man, I mean, honestly, put me on the big screen. Put me on the big screen, Brandon. Big screen. All right, Cowboys. Seriously, Jerry, if this radio, if this was not syndicated through radio where kids are listening to, you'll be hearing some words right now. What the heck are you doing? Pay Micah Parsons. Pay Micah Parsons. Don't be an idiot. Don't overthink it. You give that man a blank check and you let him sign it. And you pay him what he wants. Because if you don't, that will be the biggest fumble that you guys ever had. This fumble will be bigger than a butt fumble that Mark Sanchez had back in the day.
Wait, who was the lineman? Ronnie? No. Who was the guy that with the Cowboys that picked up a fumble, ran it back, and then fumbled it outside the end zone? And the other guy, who was the player again?
I know you're talking about.
What is his name, dadgummit? You know who I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly who you're talking about. But in all honesty, though, man, I think the Cowboys end up paying him. They have to pay him. I mean, he's the best defensive player to come this last decade, man. I mean, besides TJ Watt, of course. But man, you have to. That's a player you have to play. Stop playing with this guy before he decides to shut it down 100% fully, and you have no choice but to pay him. More than what you want to pay. So just pay him now. Get it out the way.
Getting all that salary cap money right now.
Hey, then Dak got to go.
What has Dak done, to be honest, folks?
If anything,
we're not going to discredit Dak now. Dak is Dak is a good quarterback.
How many playoff games has he won? I'll wait.
One. Man, he's still a good quarterback. It's not like that.
He has won as many games as Tony Romo has ever won.
Okay.
In the postseason.
Okay. Look at their run game last year, man. They had no run game last year. They had Rico Dowd and Ezekiel Elliott was back for good.
Doesn't matter.
For
it doesn't matter,
sakes, man. So I'm sure we're stuck.
You could go 17-0 regular season every daggum year, but do what the Cowboys do is they gonna lose in the first round, guaranteed. Because why? And I have actual audio. Jerry Jones said he danced with that devil. So yes, many have heard this for countless times. Jerry Jones sold his soul to the devil to win those championships. Guess what? He's got audio proof that he danced with that devil.
Well, he better dance with Jesus because he better get Micah Parsons back. Yeah, he better get Micah Parsons back. If he loses Parsons, it's time to hang him up, Jerry. It's time to hang him up.
Yeah. You need to put a GM in place.
Well, and there was actually a story that came out that based off of ESPN that said that 4 years ago, Jerry Jones did have conversations with his family about just being strictly an owner and not doing the GM part. So, and then he said he quickly backed off of that. However, you never know. You don't know. So I'm just saying that. Hey, real quick, shout out to the 30-year-old Arkansas wide receiver. Why is there a 30-year-old rookie wide receiver in Arkansas? Well, it's because he played 10 years in professional baseball. Shout out to this gentleman indeed. I want you guys. I want to do this real quick with you, Shane. Give me an example of another athlete who played one sport almost their entire life, and then they made this transition to football, and it didn't really go the way they had hoped. Same thing with they could even do baseball, go into football, doing any sport. Name one really notable athlete if you can, because I know one off the bat, but can you name one that I'm thinking of?
I've got about 3 of them, but the one that I want to mention because of the time frame that he did it in and all is Mr. J.R. Smith. Going from the NBA court and winning championships and being as successful as he was on the court to going back to college and playing golf. He plays golf. I know it's that's a great one to see, and you see a bunch of them in college football from the Major League Baseball and stuff, being drafted right out of high school and all. So but the J.R. Smith one kind of stands out to me just because that's 2 completely different sports if you really think about it.
Oh yeah, Matt. There's 2 athletes that I'm thinking about right now who they played this one sport the entire life. However, back in their younger days, they played another sport. One more notable than the other with regards to transitioning to different sports. Do you know who they are?
Would Russell Wilson be one?
No.
Okay. Mm-hmm. No.
Michael Jordan. Remember Michael Jordan? He played baseball when he was a younger one. So he retired from baseball to go play for the Barons. That was an absolute bleep show. And
He
then
wasn't that bad.
they used to have countdowns for how many strikeouts he had. Come on now.
Listen. I read his book and the one and there's an excerpt out of it. But if you let Michael focus solely on baseball, what they said,
he's a fantastic player.
After his first year, he would have made the major league roster the next spring training.
Oh yeah, he was an absolute amazing player. But the other one, you ready to hear this one? Tim Tebow. Remember, played football his whole life. However, when he was younger, he played baseball, and so he played football, and then wasn't really making it anywhere after the Denver Broncos. So he went to the minors. He played in the minors this entire life. Came back for one last gasp in football. Played tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And he accounted for 1 catch for -1 yard, and that was pretty much the end of that one. So shout out to this gentleman, though. Hopefully he does real well. It also helps that he's like 6'7" or something like that. So he's a really tall. He is a really tall target. So, but Shane, you have a feel-good story, and we'd love to hear it, please, sir.
Oh yeah, well, just in doing research and just kind of perusing online, you come across these articles and things that make you feel good inside and stuff. So I want to shout out. It's the Ranch Camp. It's a skate park camp up here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, just outside of Hillsville, Virginia. It's the first and only one of its kind right now to be a sensory adaptive skate park for the handicapped. Dan Messina is the one. He started skating when he was around 7 years old, and around 13 he got news that he had a degenerative eye disease that eventually took his sight at 22. So he put out a plan and built a skate park. There's some videos online if you guys want to go check them out. But it's wider, it's bigger, it's all handicap accessible, of course, and anywhere from rollerblades to skateboards to actual wheelchairs they allow out there. I did see that it is temporarily closed right now for some reason, but man, it was great to watch and see Just shout out to Dan for doing that, and kind of giving back to those less fortunate, and give them that sense of accomplishment to be able to do a sport that they probably loved before they had their condition, or even just came about loving it, just hearing it from their condition.
Dude, I love that. That's 1,000 times better than most stories. I mean, like, that's what really means the most, is giving it back. People always tell you pay it forward. Absolutely pay it forward. If you have the opportunities to help others become better, then do it. It absolutely is the most rewarding feeling in the world. My wife gets to experience this every year in school, and you see these kids have that aha, like we had with Matthew. We told him it's that aha moment. You're like, man, that really hits home on every level imaginable. And shout out indeed to him. And I look forward to hearing more about this. Matt, man, the sports world is kicking, and I know you have a good story to share with us. Go right ahead.
Oh, well, man, I want to kind of, touch on something that you guys probably know about. I know I was binge watching Squid Games, caught up on that, saw that. And I was like, all right, well, what's the next thing that I can watch? I don't really watch too much TV, but I need something playing in the background as I'm doing things, pumping out these shorts and editing these videos, as you know, Brandon.
These shorts. I ain't getting no. I've gotten 2 shorts in the last several months, folks. Come on now.
Hey, lies we tell. But anyways, man, I happened to stumble across this show, and I'm pretty sure you guys heard about this. The show Quarterback.
Yep.
And right now they're in, I think, season 2, and it features, Joe Burrow from the Bengals, Jared Goff from the Lions, and Kirk Cousins with the Falcons. And it kind of goes through last season, from the off season all the way, up to playoffs and things like that. With Joe Burrow, it goes over. He pretty much, you pretty much kind of get to see how he is, how he interacts, how he interacted with his parents, man, which I felt was kind of weird and odd. It was very robotic. You got Jared Goff, he felt betrayed by that trade with the Rams. Was kind of blindsided by it. You see how he bounces back. But the main focus of this particular one for me, which was near and dear to my heart, was Kirk Cousins. You kind of get to see how the whole thing plays out with him getting benched and getting hurt and things like that. Him actually coming back from being hurt. But it was a quote that he said that I found very interesting, Brandon, and I'm pretty sure that you will kind of find this interesting.
All right.
When Kirk said, when the Falcons drafted Michael Penix, if he knew that was a direction that they were going to go in, he probably would have stayed in Minnesota.
So I heard that before. I've absolutely heard that before.
With the Vikings. He says what he says is he loved it in Minnesota. This is what he said verbatim. He loved it in Minnesota. He had no reason to leave Minnesota. Had he had known that the team that he was going to would draft a quarterback in the first round, plans would have been changed.
So I want to tag on that too. So ESPN came out and said they had an interview with Kurt about that too. He knew the Falcons were going to draft a quarterback. They told him they were going to draft it, but they said it was going to be later rounds that they were going to draft. And so he was okay with that. Also, he was already, so he's from the Metro Atlanta area in general. So he was already going to move back to the Metro Atlanta area, but he didn't know where. Talks where it was going to be in Duluth. Talks were going to be with the Sugarloaf area. There were talks that he was going to go to Roswell, and he ultimately settled in Alpharetta.
Yeah, and you see all this. You see all this play out in the show Quarterback, man. And it's very interesting. I think it seems like his wife took the news harder than he did.
Oh yeah,
pretty much, man. His wife took the news
This is what she's doing. She's chirping.
Yeah, way harder than he did, man. So it's a very interesting take. For those who haven't seen Quarterback, I really recommend you kind of going back and watching the season. The take, the take from that perspective, from the player's perspective, I think is something that is not that we don't really think about. We don't think about them as people who have feelings. We kind of think about them as people who are there for our entertainment. So it'll be good for you to kind of check that out to get their perspective on things.
Absolutely, and I second that. Check it out. Hey, let's give some honorable mentions. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honey Badger has officially announced he is retiring. Tyrann Mathieu is retiring. Matt and I can't be any more prouder than to know that he is retiring.
Well, hey man, he was a great Cardinal. Man. I think he
is a great player in general, though.
Great player from LSU. Big time. LSU had some trouble that made him fall to the second round. Would have been a top 10 pick if he didn't have that trouble. But I mean, the only NFL teams he played for was the Cardinals and
the Saints.
No, I don't.
Seahawks?
I didn't hear that. It wasn't Seahawks. It was just the Cardinals, right? I think it was just the Cardinals. Rams. Yeah. He played with the Rams before, didn't he? Did he play with the Rams?
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, not too many teams he played for, but great career. I hope he enjoys his retirement.
Hey, Jamal Adams is reunited with Pete Carroll and Vegas. Congratulations on that one. Shout out to him indeed. Getting the chance to go back and play under a coach, which, by the way, he's in his 70s, but dadgum, he does not look like he is in his 70s. Shout out to Pete Carroll, man. I got to know what you're doing to make yourself stay this physically fit at your age. Congratulations on that one.
I'll tell you.
There's so many, not dating 24-year-olds.
We'll discuss this off the air.
Here we go.
Hey, I got an honorable mention for you here, Brandon.
Yeah, go ahead.
The rumor mill is swirling now. It is rumored that this is Snitz last year.
Yes, and I sent you that picture, by the way, too, didn't I?
Yep. And there's a couple of rumors running around. Chipper Jones has been mentioned. I don't know, if he'd want to get back into the big leagues, with his family, the way, they're a little bit older. He enjoys them. But, there have also been names mentioned. Walt Weiss is a big name that's coming out.
I've heard that too. God, have I ever heard that.
He's the bench coach for them, and we like to hire from within. So,
Yep.
That's one thing. But, it's a wide open market, and with the talent that this team has and going into the next season, it'd be a very desirable job.
And I can confirm from our good friend Nick Shalini, 6A of the Fan, that Snit has said he's about 98% sure he is retiring at the end of this season. Great illustrious career. He did win the World Series for Atlanta in 2021. He has come under some heavy scrutiny this season, obviously, with everything that has really transpired with the Atlanta Braves. But the number one name that has mentioned left and right is Chipper Jones. I'd be okay with him getting the chance to. Why not? Hey, shout out to Will Levis. Out for the year, conveniently out for the year, having shoulder surgery. We all know why he's really out. Yeah, he may have hurt his shoulder, but he's really out, so he can still get that pay because he was going to be removed from the roster by way of a pink slip. Absolutely, shout out to him. And look, our good friend Brian Pettit just also remind us officially, Matt, Phillip Rivers retired as a Charger. He's been out of the league for several years, but he signed a one-day contract with the Los Angeles Chargers to retire officially as a Charger.
Yeah.
Phillip Rivers.
Yeah,
let me ask you this though:
y'all go watch that on the Chargers TikTok.
He got really emotional, And Matt Matt and Shane, both of you answer yes or no. Is Phillip Rivers first ballot or no?
I love the guy. I say with his production, yes, but I see it being 2 or 3 years just because he doesn't have one of those.
If Eli is first ballot, then Phillip is first ballot.
I can see either way. I can see either way. Hey, real quick, we lost an iconic legend today in the music world. Go ahead.
Is Eli first ballot? Was he first? Eli has not up yet, right?
No, he's not. He's up next year.
Yet. Okay. I don't think he's gonna be first ballot. By the way, that's why I said that. So,
So
I don't think Eli's gonna be first ballot. I'm sorry.
I think the only Manning that was first ballot is his brother Peyton.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We lost in a
until Arch comes. Oh no! The real one is Marshall Manning. Wait till Marshall Manning comes up.
So I don't even know what. We lost an iconic legend in the music industry today. Ozzy Osbourne. Unfortunately, he passed away at the age of 76. Really illustrious career. He did battle a lot of health issues later on in life. But shout out to Ozzy Osbourne. And just a lot to really take in on that one. If you have not heard the news, you've been living under a rock. He unfortunately did pass away today. So shout out to him and his family indeed. Shane, we have a really big episode tomorrow for training days. Can you let everybody know about it, please?
Oh yeah, well, as we mentioned last night, tomorrow's training days episode is going to be the NFC East, a couple other teams. I keep always leaving my notes out in the car for some reason. And so we're going to have a lot of great guests on, as we mentioned earlier in this episode. In our media is coming on with us to cover the Giants. We want to say thank you for our conversation with Matt earlier for sure. But man, it's going to be a great episode. 7:30. We're kicking it off, and with actual training camp starting up officially, I'm pretty sure that I got to do a little bit of good research tomorrow and see how the first day went, and go from there.
Absolutely, and our good friend Adam, who is coming on tomorrow as well to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. He might be going to training camp for the Seahawks. Congratulations if it happens. He'll let us know, obviously. And then we have another couple of segments that are coming up, Shane. I know we got to go to Matt for the fantasy football in a minute, but Shane, can you let everybody know what those two additional subjects that we're going to, or the segments that they're called?
Oh, yeah. Well, about a month after we conclude training days on Wednesdays, we're going to do an episode of Money Lines with the Sportz Nutz. We're going to do it throughout the football season, kind of get on the betting side. We're going to be picking, against the spreads, kind of just a little parlay style fun deal that we're going to have. And then, we're going to do a special. We're still working out the time frame and when we want to do it. And, we kind of want to specialize on these things. And, it's going to be called The Other Side of Saturdays. We're going to highlight, a lot of the lesser known schools and divisions in football. And, not only highlight their football programs, but their other programs as well. And what they have going on. So, we look forward to bringing you guys that. And, anything else you guys want to hear from us, man, let us know. We love to hear your input on, just some segments that you guys think that you would want to hear from us about.
Absolutely. When we cherish them, we enjoy them, everything. Hey, real quick, this is based off of On3 Sports. North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana, and Montana State are set to have conversations with the Mountain West, the AAC, and the Big 12. That is just according to On3 Sports. So we'll stay tuned for that one. If it happens, we'll let you know if they join. Matt, I know we have this conversation regularly. You keep saying you're going to post the link. Can you share with us the fantasy football link again? Post it on your Facebook page, post it on the Sportz Nutz, everything. Let everybody know about the fantasy football, please.
Absolutely. Right now, I believe we're at 5 or 6 teams right now. Like I said, I wasn't really, we weren't really advertising really until like August, when August comes out. But the 31st is the draft. Fantasy football league, guys, $10 league. I mean, we'll have the payouts on the site. It's through Yahoo. First come, first serve right now until, August comes and I start doing some recruiting. So first come, first serve. Fantasy Football League, PPR, half point PPR, 12 teams is what we're looking for. If you do fantasy sports, come and do this one. And winner gets the championship belt. And, we'll decide what the loser gets.
Hey, Rogers, discount double check. Yes, absolutely. Hey, I got to give an honorable mention, a huge shout out actually, to my daughter. Officially 365 days ago tomorrow, she blessed this world with her presence. I'm talking about Aspen. Aspen went to bed tonight as an 11-month-old. She wakes up tomorrow as a 1-year-old. I have enjoyed every minute of every day with this beautiful little girl. I love all my girls. Everybody should know that I'm a huge lover of all my children, but it's just something about Aspen that just makes it different. She's a bundle of joy. She is the apple of my eye. She is my 2.0. Cassie's over here shaking her head. That is my 2.0. She is my girl. I love her. So if you guys can, for those who are watching, just send a message tomorrow saying happy birthday to Aspen. It would mean the absolute world. And shout out to my other daughters. They are in Atlanta, and they're having a blast as usual. I'm so happy for them. So yeah, tomorrow, guys, we have a very fun episode. I cannot wait to get it going on that one. Guys, we're about to be there. Football season is knocking on that door, and we're going to have the football coverage you want. And Shane and I both realize this is actually really cool. Episode 6, which is the last episode of Training Days with the Sportz Nutz, is monumental because the day later is the All-Star game. Excuse me, the All-Star game really is the Hall of Fame game, the Canton Hall of Fame game. So yeah, we're gonna literally have all the football, and then we have our college football start. Oh man, it's gonna be a lot of fun. We're working on a little other things too that you guys we're gonna share with you. We can't wait to get them going with you. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. Real quick. Gosh, Brandon, can you talk today? Want to let you guys know, obviously, like we said, tomorrow is episode 5 of Training Days with the Sportz Nutz. This Friday, July 25th, Marty Schneider of NFL Films, she is going to join us. We're going to have a lot of fun with her. And then next Tuesday, July 29th, we have a joint collaboration show with our good friends at Inside the Locker Room podcast. And Mr. John Abraham himself is gracing his presence on our show. Cannot wait. Absolutely excited about that one. And we're starting to book for August. We're going to have a lot more stuff to coming in August. So with that being said, for our good friend Matthew Dennis, who joined us and has a really cool story. Shane, what do you tell everybody, sir?
Oh, man, as always, it's been a pleasure. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and may the good Lord bless you. Peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease indeed. And Matt, what do you tell everybody, sir?
Yeah, guys, don't get flagged in the game of life. If you're going to do something, play by the rules. If you're going to go out and drink, just do it at home where you won't get in trouble. Don't get flagged in the game of life. It's not worth it.
That's right. And don't get as Matt would always say, don't get the whoop whoops behind you. You don't want those. You absolutely don't want those. Hey, thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. We really appreciate you. As I always tell you, peace up, A-Town down. Why it's the greatest sports city there ever was. Shout out to everybody who will join us tomorrow. Until then, you guys have a wonderful evening and enjoy this outro. Good night.